So let's circle back to that, shall we? DEI. I told y'all that the New Orleans terrorist attack was just that. It was death by diversity. Death by diversity. And I think what you're going to end up finding out is, of course, there was that lunatic. I don't want to do this. There was that lunatic Latoya Cantrell. Latoya the Destroyer. Now, most of us in the South that keep up with politics at any surface level, we're familiar with Latoya the Destroyer because she is the destroyer of cities. She is the female version of Chokwe Antar Lumumba. She jet sets around the world in first class on New Orleanians' dimes. She pays her credit card bills with city money that didn't come from her paycheck. I could go on and on and on. And then they brought in Ann Kirkpatrick as the superintendent. That's like their police chief. She's head of all New Orleans police. This 70-year-old dustbag who was so bad at her job, she got fired where she got promoted for being bad. Oakland, California. She was the police chief in Oakland, where they encourage this type of stuff, where they want poo-poo on the streets, where they want intravenous drug use in the public, where they want crime, where they want, not want as in don't want, where they W-A-N-T, want to run any good God-fearing citizens out so they can have their escape from New York type hellscape. So they can blame racisms and get some government money and help BIPOC individuals. She managed to get fired from there. And believe it or not, she was up for the job in Chicago. Of course she was. But she ended up getting the job in New Orleans, Louisiana. Now, she ain't from there. So one thing just really jumped out at me when I was watching that press conference New Year's Day after the jihadi. Welcome back, jihad, by the way. Welcome back. We missed y'all. Where y'all been? Welcome back to the party. We was watching the jihadi terrorist press conference, and I just got to wondering, where the hell are the men that run New Orleans? Where was the men's at? I don't like men's no more. Is that what y'all saying down there in New Orleans? I ain't gays no more. I don't like men's no more. Where were the men at? I mean, I saw the governor. I saw Senator Kennedy, but he was tuning them up. He was tuning them right on up. But what I also saw was 3 diversity hires. You had the black girl with a nose ring as an FBI agent telling us it wasn't a terrorist attack. This is not a terrorism. This is not a terrorism. Don't you be a racist insurrectionist and call this a terrorism. Then, of course, we had Latoya the Destroyer and Kirkpatrick. I got a little video right here. Because I have to do the online thing, it takes me just a second to move it over so they can hear it too online. It just takes me 2 seconds here. Kirkpatrick gets called out here. There's a great Twitter account, X account y'all need to follow called Fix New Orleans. They were actually inspired by Save Jackson, believe it or not. They told me that. It says at Fix NOLA, F-I-X NOLA. Some of the best coverage you're going to get of this and the fallout from it. But I reached out to the person that runs the page and I said, my gut tells me that this was all 100% avoidable had they just had the damn barricades up properly or had Katie barred it somehow. And they were like 100%. This was absolute death by diversity. But here is Ann Kirkpatrick denying that their security plan was not correct.
Adam, do you acknowledge that you let the victims down by not having an appropriate security plan? Oh, that's not correct. We would disagree with that. We
It
had a
was a plan
security
that
plan.
allowed an attacker
Well,
to drive into a crowd.
and I take exception to that, and I do not agree with that.
That
We
has to
had
be
a
a failure.
plan. We do know that people have lost their lives. But if you're experienced with terrorism, you would not be asking that question.
Well, with respect,
was she
experience of
doing?
terrorism.
They had to be experienced with terrorisms to know that if you had just blocked the damn street, a car couldn't have gone down it. This is death by diversity. I'm not saying that women can't do the job. I'm saying these women can't do the job. We'll be right back. Back into the Clay Edwards Show here live on WYAB. Yeah, finishing up here with this on the end of the hour here. Back to Death by Diversity, New Orleans edition, CSI New Orleans, DEI NOLA. I mean, this is what you're seeing, man. Look, and here's the thing. Here's how they pull this off: is they hire these incompetent people. They find these incompetent fools to run these cities. Your Chokwe Lumumbas of the world, your Latoya the Destroyer Cantrells of the world. They find these incompetent fools and they prop them up and they get them elected into positions, and then they put people in their jobs that aren't qualified to do these jobs. And it's just like with the Secret Service allowing the back door open for Trump to get shot. If you leave the back door open long enough, somebody's going to walk through the thing. And that's what they're doing now in cities like New Orleans, is they're leaving the back door open long enough. The back door in this scenario was the street not being properly blocked New Year's Eve or New Year's morning, whatever you want to call it. You keep allowing the standard to fall, and eventually nobody ever remembers what the standard was. It's like in Jackson, Public Works Department. Clearly, a lot of people who knew how the city worked retired, and they took that knowledge with them. They did not pass it down to the next crew, and I'm guessing they had no interest in learning it either way. But if you keep screwing it up on purpose, it's nobody's fault. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we got a whole nother hour to go. We got a guest on the phone for the first segment of the second hour. And frankly, I want to circle back to this. And I want to talk about the Vegas Tesla truck bomb and some other stuff. But that's firmly how I feel about this, is that, if you just keep putting incompetent people in there and they just eventually just keep saying, I didn't know, I don't know, I don't know, I didn't know that, didn't even know we did that. But it's you allowing the stuff to happen, and then it's just nobody to point the finger at. Van Conrad nailed it, man. DI hires are worthless. It's screwed up. I don't even know the way to say it. I want to cuss. What I want to do, but I ain't going to. It's all screwed up. All right, look,